Hello my dear children, we have completed the reading of chapter The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. Now we'll complete here the question answer of this chapter. The very first question is there, choose the correct option and write on the blanks. So the very first question is there, Watson thought he was interrupting Holmes because he was examining something. Second question, Peterson was left with Goose and the hat because, my dear children, you know, when Peterson he saw the man was attacked. Okay, so man with the goose and the other hoodlums, they all ran away. So why they ran away? Because Peterson's uniform scared them all away. Third question, I must be very stupid, Holmes, for I'm quite unable to follow you. So Watson, why he spoke these words? So Watson did not understand how Holmes came to his conclusion. The right answer is C part. Fourth question, Holmes realized that the hat was connected to a crime when it was thought when Peterson brought in the gem. So the correct option is C. Next is there, Ryder had stolen the gem and then what he did? Then blamed the plumber. Okay, then he put the blame on the plumber. So these are the correct options. Next is there, answer these questions. The very first question is there, the man is clever, middle-aged and uses lime cream in his hair. How did Holmes come to each of these conclusion? Okay, the very first question, this was all the finding of Sherlock Holmes. So how did Holmes come to each of these conclusion? So firstly, it was the size of the hat that helps Holmes come to the conclusion that the man was clever. Next is there, secondly, there was a grey hair on the lining of the hat that proved the man was middle-aged. And the third one, a whiff of lime on his hat proved that he used lime cream on his hair. Clear? So this was the answer of the first question. Now the second question, why did Mr. Baker come to see Mr. Holmes? So Mr. Baker, he came to see Mr. Holmes in order to claim his belongings, that is his hat and a goose. The third question, this may save us a visit to Brixton Road. Why did Holmes say this? So the answer for this question is there, Holmes said this because he sensed that the puzzle in the investigation could be easily resolved in the hot arguments which were being exchanged near Mr. Breckenridge. There was no need to visit Mrs. Oxshott in Brixton Road. Next is there, think and answer. Think and answer. How do you think Mrs. Oxshott must have felt when she heard about Mr. Ryder's involvement in the theft? Okay, so Mrs. Oxshott, she was the sister of Ryder. So how was her feeling? So in my opinion, Mrs. Oxshott, because the question is there, how do you think? So here your opinion is required. So in my opinion, Mrs. Oxshott felt very bad, disgraced and ashamed of her brother's deed. It must have been a shock to her, as she must not have thought that her brother could do such a disgraceful act. She must have lost her trust from him. Next question is there. What do you think happened to Mr. Ryder in the end? So this question is also based on your own thinking. How do you think? So in the end, Mr. Ryder was found to have stolen the gem and he confessed his guilt. Next is there. Describe these characters from the story in 2 or 3 sentences each. First is Mr. Baker, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, Mr. Ryder and Mr. Peterson. So the very first is there Mr. Baker. So how was Mr. Baker? He is a tall, elderly poor man who has lost a goose and gets accidentally involved in the case of the blue carbuncle. Clear, children? Next is there Mr. Holmes' character. So Mr. Holmes, he is a clever, observant, easygoing and an experienced detective. He solves the mystery of missing carbuncle in a very good logical way. Next is there the character of Dr. Watson. So he is a devoted friend of Sherlock Holmes. He is a patient and sensitive observer. He is modest, intelligent and quite inquisitive. But his detecting capabilities are no match for the quick, sharp, deductive reasoning of Holmes. He is a doctor by profession, but he cannot keep himself away from accompanying Holmes in his crime-solving cases. Next character is there of Mr. Ryder. So Ryder, you know, he was a hotel attendant at Hotel Cosmopolitan. So he turns out to be a thief when he falsely accuses a plumber for the theft of the blue carbuncle. And by appearance, he is a little red-faced man and also he is Mrs. Oxshot's brother. Next is the character of Mr. Peterson. So he is a man with great importance. It's because of him the mystery of the lost carbuncle solved. Without him, there could have no evidence to crack the mystery of the theft of precious gems. So my dear students, these all were the questions of the chapter The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. So I hope you all will complete these questions. Thank you everyone.